world still belonged to the old age, an age of wars fought with bullets, steel, and courage. But at exactly 5:29 a.m., on July 16, 1945, everything changed. A blinding flash tore through the darkness, brighter than the sun, fiercer than fire, and older than creation itself. It wasn't a sunrise, it was the birth of a new world, and the death of the old one. They called it Trinity. A test, they said. A scientific experiment, but in truth, it was a moment that split the timeline of humanity in two, before and after. The desert floor trembled as the fireball rose higher and higher, blooming into a monstrous mushroom cloud that devoured the sky. Men who stood miles away felt the heat on their skin. Like the breath of something ancient and unstoppable, they had unleashed the power of the universe itself, the energy locked inside every atom. For centuries, humans had dreamed of mastering nature. But that morning, nature reminded us of the cost of curiosity. The men behind the Manhattan Project, Oppenheimer, Fermi, Teller, and hundreds of others, watched in silence. No one cheered, no one spoke. They had built the most powerful weapon in history. And in that moment, they realized what it truly meant to hold godlike power. Oppenheimer's words echoed from the ancient text of the Bhagavad Gita. "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." That single line would haunt him for the rest of his life, because on that day, death had been reborn in human hands. From that explosion in the desert came a new age, the atomic age, an age that promised limitless energy and whispered of total annihilation. 3 weeks later, the same light that burned in the desert would fall upon the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and in seconds, tens of thousands of lives vanished, swallowed by the fire mankind had created. What began as a scientific triumph ended as a tragedy that redefined morality, politics, and the very meaning of power. The world had changed, not just in weapons, but in conscience. For the first time, humanity had the means to destroy itself entirely. Every nation would now live beneath the shadow of the atom. Since that day, peace has been maintained not by love or understanding, but by fear. Fear of that same light that once turned night into day over new. Mexico. July 16, 1945, the day the world split the atom, the day humanity discovered that progress and destruction could be the same thing. It was the moment we stopped asking if we could do something and began asking, should we? In that blinding instant, the future of mankind was rewritten in fire, in light, and in silence. And the echoes of that morning still reach us today. In every nuclear treaty, in every whispered threat, in every child who grows up under a sky we pray never turns to fire again. Because that morning, at 5:29 a.m., July 16, 1945, the world didn't just split the atom, it split its soul.